built on relationships, focused on people, and rooted in the community. Welcome to the Build Blue podcast. Tune in for weekly episodes featuring guests who are building a better tomorrow. You'll hear inspiring stories from industry leaders, business owners, community partners, and our team members. The Build Blue podcast, where construction comes to life. An Apex Construction Group production. Welcome to the Build Blue podcast. My name is Jess Blaze with Apex Construction Group, and we are here for another episode, and we have Ryan Ott from Big Ideas, Inc., and we are so excited to have you, Ryan. We're going to start by letting you tell us about yourself and your background, and then we'll get into more of what Big Ideas is, what you guys do, and where you're headed.
That sounds good, Jess. Thank you for inviting me here.
Absolutely.
That's pretty awesome. So as you said, I'm Ryan Ott, the Executive Director at Big Ideas, Inc. We're based out of New Ulm, so we're a 501c3 that really helps people discover and explore skilled trades careers. We just try to inform, kind of inspire them, and connect them through various ways, and we'll get into that, I'm sure, in a little bit. A little bit about me. So I am a licensed contractor. What's unique about our program, Big Ideas in general, is everybody that we work with, everybody that's on the team, and all of our instructors are all in the trades somehow. So while we're helping people learn about the trades, we have historically tradespeople in them. So, which is really good as far as that goes. So our model is a little bit different as far as that goes. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So you are fairly new in your role at Big Ideas, coming from a construction background, which is interesting.
Yeah. Kind of a transition. I found my way here. So I was building tiny houses in St. Cloud.
Which we could do another whole episode on that, because I think that's so cool.
Yeah, it was really fun. But transition, my wife and I are moving to New Ulm, back to her hometown. And I thought maybe it was a good time for a transition, career transition. And I found Big Ideas, and they're such a part of who I have been in my life. If it wasn't for a couple of instructors in high school and a couple of key people that have put me on a good path, I don't know where I'd be in life. So the program, the concepts, and all of that stuff is very personal to me.
I'm looking forward to digging more into that. We start all of our Build Blue podcast episodes with an Apex Icebreaker. And so I have to ask, if you could open and run any business, what would it be?
It's really interesting. And I don't know why I'm going to say this, but I really think that like a morning coffee and lunch shop, like a little cafe, just morning and noon, no supper time, no alcohol, no drinks. Yep. Just chilling with some people, making breakfast and sandwiches. I think that would be great.
That's wonderful.
It's weird. I know.
What we should really start doing is ask that question and then throw out the rest of the questions and talk about that.
Right.
Because we have had so many. We've had pizza places. We've had sports bars. Yeah. We've had a rare bookstore. So many of these little passion projects that's why we love to ask it.
It's a good question. The other thing, if I was going to append that at all, over the last few years, I really got into stair building. Oh. And I think that's driven by the tiny houses because they're really bookcase stairs in them. So the geometry and the math and stairs is very intriguing to me. So the other thing that I would probably do is just focus on stair work.
Oh, that's super cool.
Yeah, which is really interesting. Yeah.
I don't have a math brain, so you lost me at geometry, but I think that people who do are fascinating to talk to, because it really is a different way of thinking.
Yeah. It's it takes a lot to think about. There's the height overall and the length overall, and how are you going to get every one of those to match up along the way. So it's tricky.
That's cool. So let's talk about Big Ideas, your mission, when you guys started and why, and then how you've evolved since then. And I know there's a lot to say.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there. We started with our two founders who had kids that were kind of at that high school graduate level. And it seemed like they weren't very enthused in what their next path in life was. Some kids were going to college. Some people were just going to be in the trades. And these two ladies said, no, you should be just as proud of yourself going into a trades career as anything else. There's no difference in the world or society, and in fact, we probably need more people in skilled trades than just about anything else. I mean, it's kind of the bedrock of our society is built on the skilled trades. I mean, that's where everything starts from. So that's where the idea got generated from. We did some live classes early on, or a lot of live classes. It kind of built up from there. And then during COVID, things kind of shifted. And the idea was to move things mobile and outside. So we built a mobile trailer. It's our mobile learning lab. And then that has VR stations in it. So you can learn about welding, virtual augmented reality welding, industrial coatings, which is like paint. We have a CAT simulator in there as well. And then transfer VR, which you can go through and do things like change oil in the cars through the VR technology. So we bring that around to schools and events. We were at the car show here in Mankato, and people can kind of just get exposed to some of these trades. You know, if they've never welded before, they get this option to check it out, and it's really, that's where our model is right now. So still doing live classes and doing the mobile learning lab.
And this isn't just for young adults or young people.
No, I would say it's hard to say that we would target anybody. Mm-hmm. It's very, very much for anybody who wants to learn just a little bit about a trade or any trades. So we do go to schools a lot with our mobile learning lab, so then the kids can get kind of some exposure that they're not getting any other way. But as far as our live classes go, or when we have an open event, we get all ages coming through. Yep. Which
is very cool.
Yeah.
So if someone came to one of your classes or checked out your live learning lab and they were like, welding is really for me, I want to learn more, then what's the next step after that?
Yep. So we have various, so through our website, we have some various opportunities or options that they can go through, and definitely contact us if you're like, I'm very interested in welding. There's some industry locally here they're always open and willing to bring people through and do the next step as far as that goes. So we try to connect them with somebody in industry. Sure. and kind of move them along that path too.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the importance of the trades and then some trends that you guys are maybe seeing across the industries that you work within.
So the importance of the trades is foundational. So I have a residential construction background. I'm a licensed contractor. And when you think of the hierarchy of needs of people, it's really food, water, and shelter. That's the third one. So we're not going to survive Minnesota if we don't have shelter. And that's the bedrock of everything. I mean, that's where it all starts from. So as far as the importance of the trades in society at large, it is right there with food and water. I mean, it's just right there. So I've always gone into it thinking how much good I'm doing in the residential construction. But you think about somebody who's a mechanic, let's say, and you think, they're fixing cars, but that's not really what they're doing. They're helping the parents get the kids to soccer practice. They're helping the doctor get back to work so then he can deliver babies. They're making sure that all of the vehicles are running so other people can do their jobs too. So it's a really deep thing as far as what the trades do in the world.
Really keep the community moving.
Yeah, the infrastructure in our society, bridges, welding, concrete work, sidewalks, all of that stuff is skilled trades. A lot of them don't have a college track necessarily. A lot of it's in the field working. It's an apprenticeship. It's learning through other people, and that's kind of where maybe the trades get a bad rap from, because college is so glitzy and glamorous, and I'm going to go and get my bachelor's degree, and not to throw too many rocks, but I know a lot of people that went to college and they don't do anything with their degree, which is sad. Now they have this debt, and if they would have just found concrete work or siding a house or welding or whatever, they could take pride in what they do and help society as a whole.
So I grew up in the 90s. I'm guessing you're probably right in that neighborhood as well. And there was this huge push for four-year bachelor degree college at that time. And there almost became like this stigma around technical colleges and skilled trades. And I think that these industries and society is kind of paying the price for that now.
I think so too. I think, so I was in high school in the 90s. And computers were coming on board, and to pay for the computers, they kind of did away with a lot of either sports activities or shop classes, because computers, this is going to take over everything, and that's going to be awesome. And I think now, 20, 30, 40 years later, they're seeing that, well, now we're pushing people to the top of the pyramid and we have nobody down here. So are we, kind of everything's built on a pyramid, right? So there's, as far as a business goes, there's like a CEO, there's a top person, and there's other people, production managers and all of that. And then down at the bottom is you have these people that really do the work. It's not the right, because everybody's doing work all along. But in the old ways, you would get a job and you'd be production, and then you'd get the next job and you would move up through the hierarchy in that business or that field. And now we're kind of shooting people to the top of it, and they're not going to want to go back down, right? So I feel like we're not training people to come up through it. We're just skipping that bottom layer and then pushing them right to the top. And there's nobody down here. Mm-hmm. And these jobs aren't necessarily for everybody. Like we said, people go to college and they don't do their degree. I know people that went to college for whatever, and now they're an electrician. This is interesting for them, business management, and now they own a construction company or things like that, which is great. But it's that's my story.
And I think too with that, something that often gets overlooked with the trades is that there are a lot of jobs. They're good paying jobs. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of stability with those jobs. And again, that's something that you're hearing conversations about it now, but 20 years ago, it was a different conversation.
It was a different conversation. Yeah, definitely. I told my son is 23 now. And I said, as long as you know how to run a hammer, you'll always have a job. And he got a new job and he's repairing campers. And he enjoys it. He understands it. He's worked with me over the years too. So using tools got him another job. He didn't want to go to college, so he was trying to figure out what to do, and finally he landed something that he's working on Airstreams, which are these big fancy Airstreams, right? So he's working on those and is just impressed by it. Mm-hmm. So instead of going to college, he likes that sort of thing. So there's no right way, but
it certainly a 4-year degree is a great fit for some people, but it isn't the path for everyone.
Yeah, definitely.
And identifying those individuals who that isn't the right path for is kind of something that Big Ideas helps people find their niche.
Yeah, I would say that's our aim. The way that I look at it is, let's say schooling or society as a whole is so pushing everybody into a college degree that they don't even take the time to teach people how to use a hammer or a drill or some of these things that you'd go to Grandpa's workshop and he'd show you how to fix a light bulb or whatever he's going to do out there. And those things don't happen because we're just omitting that whole thing from a lot of people's lives. Smaller communities, farm communities, they get that because they're still kind of working on the farm. But as you move more into the bigger cities, it's really gone. Mm-hmm. So, and the funny thing is everybody lives in a house. Everybody needs to repair that house, or you call somebody to try to fix it. So when you're a kid, learning those things, just being exposed to that stuff is really important because it's skills that you're going to use your whole life regardless.
Yeah, absolutely. So if someone is interested in getting involved with Big Ideas, what different opportunities are there?
Yeah, so we are always on the lookout for instructors. So what we do is we have an instructor program. Let's say Myron, he's our plumbing instructor. So he'll go through like a 0-level course where it's just, he'll teach kids just the basics about plumbing. And then it'll be a level 1 course. So then it'll be like a little bit more in depth. And he'll be sweating copper and working with PEX and creating drains and stuff like that. How does the plumbing system work? So we're always looking for instructors to teach various skills in pretty much any community, really. We do a lot in New Ulm because that's where we are. Mm-hmm. Mankato would be great. Minneapolis would be great. It doesn't really matter, but we're always looking for those instructors that want to offer their knowledge to the next generation. And it could be kids taking class. It could be adults taking class. We get all kinds. But even the people that want to take a plumbing class because they own a house and they're like, hey, how does this stuff work? I'm sure I can just fix it myself, or I'd like to try it, so that sort of stuff. So we are looking for instructors that are, interested in helping the next generation learn something. I know it's difficult to train people in the field because you're thinking about production and you're thinking about, getting the job done and all of that sort of stuff. But these classes are really fun because you can actually slow down and teach people the things that you want to teach them. And that's really fun. And we pay. So we pay instructors for the classes. We know that they're professionals. A lot of times it's evenings, after hours. So we pay for the time. And that's one way.
Okay.
Of course, the other way is the instructors that we have on our mobile learning lab. The mobile learning lab goes all over the state, and we have various instructors all over the state. So we have one major lab coordinator, Andy. So he goes with the lab wherever it goes, but then we have instructors everywhere that can just work on the lab 4 hours or 8 hours during a day. So when we go to a school, let's say, and we're in Hibbing, we have some instructors up there that can just drive to the lab for the day. And we pay for that as well. So, I mean, people are compensated for their time. So those are really, kind of two main ways that people can get on board. And if they fill out the contact form on the website, that would be great.
Are those your biggest areas of need, would you say?
Yeah, I would say, as a 501, we're always running in the red as far as that goes. We don't necessarily have a product, so income generation is a thing. We do a lot of grants and stuff, but if our people are interested in donating to the cause, if they don't have time that they can commit, we get some checks that are $100, and they're like, hey, this is awesome, thanks for doing this stuff, thanks for helping the next generation. So as far as a commitment of some kind of donation, that's great too. Or simply low cost, just liking us on Facebook, watching what we're doing, and spreading the news of what we've got going on is helpful too.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Are there other nonprofits or organizations across the country who have a similar model to what you guys are doing?
There are a lot of similar things. There are a lot of Chamber of Commerces that are kind of working with their chamber constituents, trying to get things going. Industry places that are working with. So there's quite a few because the need is so great. So across the country, there's a lot. We even just got a call from Canada that they're interested in our model and how they can implement it. That was a Chamber of Commerce in Canada. So they're all over. What we see as different from our model is a lot of them are just driven by people who care, not necessarily tradespeople, where we really look for tradespeople to pass on that knowledge. We want to teach people about, when the day sucks and it's raining on you, but the pride that you get from the end of the day when you turn around and you're like, whoa, that was a tough day, but that was awesome too, that sort of stuff. So our model is really trades professionals driven, whether they're retired people. We have retired people that help, and then we have active tradespeople too. So our model is a little bit different than what we see out there too. So there's plenty of them.
Cool.
But it's a real need. It's a real
Absolutely.
Need.
As a company who employs tradespeople, we can attest that there is certainly a need.
Yeah.
So how can companies like Apex, like other, either residential contractors, commercial contractors, people who employ tradespeople, how can we get involved? And what kind of support would Big Ideas be looking for from companies like ours?
That's great. Yes, help. That's it. I think really, what I see would work really well with somebody like you is if we could implement an instructor program where maybe part of your model is once a month, one person teaches one class, so you've got a team of 20, however that is. And over the course of the year, we would be able to put a lot of classes through. And the reason that we're doing that, or looking for something like that, is because it starts with the younger generation. We have to get them up to speed. I know that there's an urgent need right now, but that's not going to come from right now. We have to look forward a little bit. So, the people that are like, there's no good workers out there, well, we have to get ahead of that so we can get them up to speed. So if a larger organization or even smaller ones were to take the time to build an employee, social give back type situation where they can build a model and have somebody teach a class or work the trailer or, just help in those kind of ways with us. That would be really great. I mean, that would work out really well.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes sense. And you're right, that cultivating the next generation so that that doesn't help right this minute, but hopefully that will help alleviate some of the...
Yeah, and there are bigger organizations. When you're a small independent contractor and you own your own job, let's say you're a small business owner and you're doing your work, you're kind of thinking through your own life. A bigger place like you guys are thinking well ahead probably into what's the succession plan with this place? How long is this place going to be around, and what can we do in the future? So your view is a lot longer than the person that's just thinking about today.
Sure.
So within your organization specifically, or any larger ones that have 50-year viewpoint on what's happening, if we can get to freshmen now in high school, that's only 3 or 4 years before they're working. Even in their senior year, they start working. So it's just a little bit out there, but you got to do it in order to get it to come back around.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great. It's a great model. And what you guys are doing is awesome. I'm just looking at my questions, make sure we didn't miss anything. Any upcoming events or opportunities that are planned like for this summer?
Big pitch, right?
Okay.
So right. There are 2 big events. The Mall of America is having its 30th anniversary this year.
No way.
Yep. So it's 30 years old.
Okay.
Yep. And we are doing a big STEAM event there. So the whole mall is being taken over by a STEAM carnival, basically, where it's all robotics and animatronics and people like us and technical trades people with all of their different wares. I saw that they're going to be building there's a class where you can build a guitar, or I think that somebody said they're going to build an electric car there too over the course of it. So that's in August 10th through the 14th. We're going to be there. But we definitely need some people to help.
Okay.
Because it's going to be, 4 days, 5 days, all day long, and we're a small staff, so we definitely could use some volunteers for that. And the other huge one, and if anybody could just email me, ryan.ott@bigideasusa.org.
I'll put a link in the show notes.
The state fair is 12 days, 12-hour days, and we need a lot of people to help. Tradespeople are great. And you don't need to have any experience with big ideas. We can kind of train you on what that is. But really, we're just looking for people to have conversations with people. So as people are moving through our booth at the state fair, just to have those conversations and just invite them into our trailer. And it's kind of low. It's a kind of a low-touch thing, but we just need the bodies.
Yeah,
We
absolutely.
just need people, like everybody needs people right now.
Everybody needs people.
So and that's 12 days long. That's the state fair, and we can pay for the admission ticket. So the kind of the plan is it's a 6-hour shift. So if you want to come and work and then enjoy the fair afterwards, or enjoy the fair and then just kind of be at the trailer for a while, that would definitely help us out. We need probably 20 people.
Okay. So if you're listening and you are passionate about the trades and you're passionate about the future and our youth, this might be a great opportunity for you to get involved with Big Ideas, get your feet wet, find out what it's all about. It's a great organization, and the event at the Mall of America sounds super cool.
Yeah, that's going to be really cool.
And that is youth focused?
It is really anybody that's at the mall. So as passerbys just come up and go through all of the stations, or they're just interested, and it's a big event. So I don't know that it's focused on anybody specifically.
Got it.
But it's going to be cool.
Awesome. We had Louise Dickmeyer, the CEO of the Children's Museum, on our podcast last week, and we talked a lot about the STEAM exhibits at the Children's Museum and just cultivating even sooner, cultivating that STEAM thought process and that learning through play. So this is kind of a nice next episode as we get into a little bit older youth.
Definitely. It's funny because the trades are really simple. Little kids can use hammers. It's really funny. I mean, it's just smashing. Little kids understand it like intuitively. So I think I think getting them into it and getting them exposed to just a little bit of something sparks an idea, sparks a passion.
Definitely.
And understanding how that works with society too. I think kind of going back to the mechanic that is not just sitting there, fixing cars, really telling people what people are, how society works and where you fit in. I think a lot of people don't know what they do in their own job, actually what they do, like how they fit into society.
That's such a good point. I had a conversation with someone who owns retail stores, and he was talking about that, like people not realizing what business they're in. You think you sell clothes or something like that, but really it's bigger than that.
Yeah.
And understanding that it does make a difference.
Yeah, definitely. And that's how you get that pride and passion out of it too. I think understanding where you really fit in, how you help is a big difference than just I'm working on a camper or whatever.
Yep.
I mean, there's a big thing.
It's bigger than that.
It's way bigger than that. Yeah.
Let's get everybody the contact information. I will link it in the show notes and on YouTube, but if you want to hit them with website, socials, things like that.
So you can find us on Facebook. It's facebook.com/Big Ideas USA, but if you put it in the search bar, it's going to be Big Ideas Inc.
Okay.
So that's kind of
we'll link
confusing.
it. That'll be the easiest.
And then Instagram, it's Big Ideas USA.
Awesome.
On Instagram.
And the website?
It's bigideasusa.org.
All right. Thank you so much, Ryan Ott. Big Ideas Inc. They are located in New Ulm. You'll see them out and about all summer long. And if you want to get involved, check out their website. Send Ryan an email. A lot of great opportunities for fostering that next generation of skilled tradespeople. You can listen to the Build Blue podcast anywhere you get your podcast. And, of course, you can find us on YouTube as well. We'll see you next week.